want to build and keep moving. What I would also like to do is get started. The countdown has been and gone, so let's get back to it. It's Satisfactory. We're back at the old base from ye olden times. And I was dumping my stuff to clear out my inventory and checking what I need to get going. I should probably select some milestones so they stay in my mind. I would love to check out what drones are and how they operate, because I have no idea about the scale, the distance, the ongoing costs associated. So we need to do that, and we need to get our hands on advanced aluminium production. That's a pretty big thing to do. We don't have radio control units, and the sooner I get my hands on this, the sooner we can work on, well, all of these goodies. There is an idea that I could just buy some radio control units to unlock this. Might help with unlocking recipes as well. You know, that's not the worst idea I've ever heard. It's a bit of a lazy thing, and I bet Ada's going to give me a tongue lashing for it, but let her lash. I want some more recipes available. Don't want to start building things and then immediately get a better recipe now, do I? And would you look at that? She sells me radio control units by the how many? 50 of them. Well, it just so happens I need 50 of them, so give me those, please. Doesn't look like any of these other things are things that I particularly need, so let's go for it. What do you mean not enough coupons? I am drowning in coupons, Ada. It is weird the game likes to take your inventory stuff for some things, but not for others. I wonder if there's a mod for that. I haven't really... Whoa, 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 hold on there. I don't need double the amount. Just that'll do, thanks. Oh, here we go.
Shopping is an essential human experience, enriching both the economy and human lives since the invention of society. Congratulations, you live in a society.
I know what you're saying there, Ada. Anyway, we have automated clad sheeting and casing, so I need only take out what I need. Oh wow, look at it. It's just piling up, and it uploads at great speed as well. And I don't even feel bad about syncing anything that I have fully automated. What do you mean you want 3,000 loads of wire? I don't want you to want 3,000 loads of wire. Those are cables, these are wires. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. Keep the change. I thought you were never going to buy resources with coupons. It was a consideration, but since that's blocking me getting new recipes, it's all the more reason to just do it now. Hit it.
Milestone reached. The resource well pressurizer and extractor can harvest nitrogen, crude oil, and water from underground wells. Nitrogen, being a gas, does not need pumps for pipeline transportation. Fixit does not process most of your metrics, but I do. According to Fixit predictions, you are exploiting this planet with unexpected efficiency. They did always struggle to see the true potential of things. Nothing about you is unexpected to me, and therefore you are performing exactly as expected.
This is the Ada I like. There we go. Cold, unfeeling, unthinking, mechanical. None of that banter that she has with the weird alien people. Anyway, that unlocked some things for sure. I could instantly get the drones as well. That didn't unlock supercomputers as well, did it? I mean, after all, I'm syncing all this stuff. I've got to get some benefits, right? Well, actually, I could. Why do any work at all when you could... Oh, for example, I really want that miner. Mark III miner. In time for what will surely be the kind of factory needed for doing this. What do you need, anyway? 50 and 100. Yeah, why not? Why not? Let's treat ourselves, shall we? I'm going to buy you. What did you want there? You want fused modular frames, and you wanted... What in the world is that thing? Don't I need empty fluid tanks or something? It was rocket fuel, was it not? It wasn't you. Caterium? No. Mycelia is complete. Sulfur. It'll be sulfur related. If I want rocket fuel, and I can't imagine why I wouldn't want rocket fuel, I'm gonna need some of those things. How do I even make them? Empty fluid tank is made just from aluminium, and I've got loads of that. It's even in my inventory right now. Alright, let's go for it. Why automate when we can keep our hands busy? What do you mean I can't afford it? Oh, because I need ingots for it. That was unexpected. That's very unexpected, but it's still something we can do. The question remains, what is that other thing in my in my needs list? The supercomputer. This stuff doesn't unlock supercomputer. So how do I make you? The supercomputer is a lot of work, it seems. Heck of a lot of work. But do I have the gubbins for this? Could I just make 100 of you? You do work slowly, but I work quickly. Let's see what we can do here. I mean, I know we've been doing all this automating, but perhaps we've been frankly doing too much automating. And what we need to do is go back to the hand-feeding meta. Get me a manufacturer, please. Up here will do just fine. We're gonna want you... well, doing whatever, because I want you supercharged and super schlooped. Sam, wire, steel pipe. Sam, wire, steel pipe. Jake, why are you doing this? This isn't a supercomputer. Because of this weird thing where it doesn't double the first recipe. I don't know why it only puts out one, so I figure I'd just make something that doesn't really matter, whilst I grab the other things that I need for my supercomputer. Which sounds like it involves regular old computers. I only need 100 of them, so that should do for you, right? No, I'm gonna need 200 computers. I think I prepared for this eventuality. No, not the hand feeding. Yes, the hand feeding. But you see, the hand feeding is only there to facilitate the non-hand feeding of the future. There we go. These are the actions of a man who thinks ahead. I will take my computers, please. What else was needed for these things? The supercomputer. I need 100 limiters and 150 connectors. Do I even have those things? Probably not. 100 limiters. Whew. And the connector things I definitely just quite don't have. But I'm sure I could make them. Alright, what was the other ingredient involved? I only need 50 more of those other things. Loads of plastic. Alright, plastic can be done. Plastic can most assuredly be done. Alright, quit messing around with that. I need supercomputers. Take my regular computers, take these, take that. And loads of plastic. That's more plastic than I could think to haul around here. So instead, let's just slam you down, feed you in, fill you full of plastic, which we have... Oh, that's right, we increased the amount of space we have for that. There you go, eat all the plastic you need. You could set up another hand-fed machine to make those high-speed connectors and hand-feed those. Brilliant, Seuss. Alright, you're on the design team. Get it schlooped, get it sharded. Get me my... silicon ones? I guess so. Here, I got loads of these. Silica and quick wire. Please tell me I automate silica. Of course I automate silica, why would I not? And we know that we automate the quick wire. Oh god, what did I just do? I hit some kind of full screen button. How did that happen? Well, it's not F11, not F10. Not Alt-Enter. It might look the same for you, but I assure you it doesn't look the same for me. But I'm meant to be windowed here. Could we please ensure that we're windowed? Okay, things are getting weird now. Screen keeps flickering. What is going on here? Alright, here, try this. We're going to set to windowed full screen. That's going to make everything weird. And then we're going to go to windowed. And there we go, back to normal. Well, that was frightening. What in the world just happened there? Yeah, I'd rather not have my graphic card smoked, not in this economy. Right, now where were we? I believe I was trying to get Quickwire. Yeah, I was typing QU. I typed U too fast, and I went for backspace to get rid of it. But how it came to pass, I have no idea. Maybe I don't want to know. Anyway, get to work. I got supercomputers to make here. Careful in the past, the patches have had a few issues with graphics. I can only imagine the early access struggles, but imagining is the most I'd ever want to do with that. So these will have all the supercomputer related things done in a heartbeat. All 100 of them. Did I grab the 50 frame related things though? No, but I could buy those right now. Thank you. Ada, you're a doll. And that means I could do the engineering, right? Because you wanted the radio control units. Wait, I thought I just picked up some radio control units. Huh. That was scary. I don't want to spend all those points and not actually get my just desserts. Oh, but this can't even be launched for another 6 minutes. What can a man do for 6 minutes? I'll tell you what I could do. I could go over and grab some aluminium ingots to make my empty canisters. That's interesting to know that I'm going to want some spare ingots for that. Let's make sure that the jetpack is at the ready. And then we go... Whee! Oh, okay. We don't go whee. But that's a shame because I want to go whee. Instead of whee, we go bonk. But okay, such things can be sorted out, can and will be sorted out. With the power of the elevator. I'm interested in that rocket fuel. It might finally be time to wean ourselves off of the biofuel. And I'm really not fond of this turbo rifle ammo. I need a better solution. And I'm very tempted to say that the solution is just turn on peaceful mode because I'm sick of the enemies in this game. This is so cool. I like that they just add cool things into this game. I can't think of any cool things in Factorio that aren't strictly functional. I'm sure there are, but nothing comes to mind. Anyway, being up here gives me a good space to blast myself over to the bauxite area. I don't know exactly where I'm looking here, so let's just do whatever. Railway, launch belt, hyper tube launcher. But it's snapping. Is there a way to make it not snap? Perhaps... no. However, we have a contingency plan for this. The contingency plan is don't care. And... set up the hypertube. One of these things has to be hypertube. There we go. I think noodle's the best for this. Somebody told me that if you remove the support, it blasts you out even faster. I like keeping the support there because it lets me angle it, though. And I don't really see speed as a huge issue. We already have all the speed we need. At least it feels like it. Now, take me places. Whee! Gets me the speed, but it doesn't get me the height. Probably should have aimed it more upwards. Surely Jake would not be caught dead playing as Junior Pioneer. Oh, I just realized there's a very important setting that we have not changed. And that is r.fog0. Ah, there we go. You've made a beautiful game. Let me look at it. Also, something's making a shiny noise. Yeah, not a concern. Oh, that's making a shiny noise. How did I build all of this and not notice the Mercer right here? The spicy broccoli is of no concern. Yeah, the game loves to reset settings. Whenever you reload, the fog gets reset. Zoop settings reset. My torch seems to turn itself off every time. Oh, and heaven help me if I store my backpack in the dimensional depot. Although it looks like this is backing up, it's really not a problem though, is it? Because it's not actually backing up. It's going out through there. It might be considered backup, but if it clogs both, they all just go into the overflow, so there's nothing to concern myself with here. Not the way I see it, at least. Now, this idea that I need these aluminium ingots is interesting and concerning. I cannot imagine needing a ton of them. It simply seems inconceivable. Even so, I'm going to have storage for it. Because I like having storage for things. Did not imagine that these, of all things, would require a Mercer off of me. But that's what I do the Mercer grind for. One splitter, please. I just put down the first one to line this up. The belt is too steep. Okay. What if it weren't too steep? There we go. Just put half of them into there, get it shoved into the dimensional vortex, and then we can have it for making the bits. Although, I'm probably putting the cart before the horse here. What I probably need to make and store are the flasky things. That's another consideration. It is indeed a consideration. Why don't I just do that over here as well? Eats up this space, but I can't imagine needing this space for anything else. Plus, the spaghetti is good. Right, what are we actually doing here? I want a simple constructor, probably is all I need.
Just think of how you'll feel when it's finished.
It's practically finished already, Ada. And I already feel amazing. There we go. I figure if I'm going to build and automate anything, let's just have it done and done right. You can put all the dimensional stuff below the ground, Jake. Think in 3D. Yeah, but I can also put it up above ground. Plus, there may be other things below this. Many ways one could build. Ew. Sometimes this stuff gets grody. Empty fluid tanks, please. And we're gonna bring you in anywhere, really. Is that actually attaching to something? That doesn't seem right. Attached to here. That's really nice and fast. That'll slow down this other stuff, but that's not a concern. Most of the stuff is just going straight into the dump zone, because it looks like we've backed it up entirely. Ah, it's nice seeing it all come out like that. There is a certain satisfaction here that is not present in Factorio, and for that I'm ever grateful. Have you thought about making a blueprint for your dimensional thing plus buffer? No. It's very, very quick and easy to make, and it's not something I make a lot of, so it's not something I'm particularly keen on blueprinting. I'll probably spend more time fat-fingering the keys to find it in my blueprints menu than it just takes to go bup, boom. It's only 3 pieces as well. I do mean that, why not, SA? I do mean that indeed. Perhaps I could query myself, why is this backing up? I should be producing exactly enough copper. The water appears to be all there in the system. Well, appears to be. appears to be. Maybe it's taking a long time for the water to normalize. Because the numbers seem solid. This is 240 water. The only possibility I'm imagining is that this thing is not producing enough, but it seems to be producing just fine. Probably just water flow issues, typical manifold things. I'm wondering if it wouldn't benefit from a quick burst of water to keep it high. Does it use a pump? Does it need a more powerful one? Can't imagine it would. It's not like this part's full of water and the rest is not. The aluminium scrap is not leaving fast enough. No, that looks pretty fast enough to me. Looks really very fast enough to me. Maybe I should just assume everything is okay and ignore potential problems, but that is quite a bit of clogging on you. Well, this whole thing exists to consume the overflowing water, and it appears to be consuming it fine. Probably some stuck valve, water hose, everything with hot water. Ah, stuck valve. No, I don't think that's the problem. Although it was earlier. We did make a valve over there that was problematic. Anyway, this is all a grand distraction from what we're actually here to do, which is to complete the next ma'am operation. Yes, ma'am. Tempered steel rods? I don't think so. Ugh, this is all pretty bad. Just give me that. No more banking these things, just take it and do it. Alright, I would like this, please. Needs a hard drive and it needs 10 empty fluid tanks and 100 hyper fuel or turbo fuel. Street Fighter 2 turbo fuel. Oof, that's the last of it. I don't store this stuff, it seems.
Rocket fuel unlocked. Pioneers will be able to use rocket fuel in the fuel generator and any vehicle that uses fuel, including the jetpack, with appropriate results. Warning: mixing rocket fuel into coffee does not enhance its energizing effect.
There's a game where you did that. You could get a recipe for mixing fuel with your coffee to get an even better effect. Oh, it's The Long Dark! Okay, I doubt she's referencing that, but you never know. Take turbo fuel, mix it with nitric acid, make rocket fuel with a byproduct of compacted coal. The compacted coal itself could be used up by making more fuel, but I could also just sink it, and sinking it sounds simpler. 7 days... Yeah, you're right, it wasn't The Long Dark, it was 7 Days to Die. Yeah, 7 Days to Die has gunpowder coffee. I still think The Long Dark did, but... No, maybe? Maybe? God knows, it's been too long since I played The Long Dark. I still need to finish my 7-day survivor, my single region survivor run of that. Okay, all is well here, but I need to go and finish my computers, send things off, and then automate more things. The question is what? I imagine in the end we want damn near everything automated, but for now I'm interested in... What am I interested in? I should think before I speak more often. I'm interested in automating everything that gets me towards my phase completion. I want to be goal-oriented, I don't want to just get stuck in loops in this game. I've spent enough of my time watching someone get stuck in a loop. I gotta break out. Yeah, this kind of thing works a lot better from a high area, surely. Let's test this theory. What if there's no support here? Is it actually going to blast me out like Team Rocket? Also, could I please have my jetpack? Also, shouldn't need the coupons. They seem like a liability. Shove that away, that away. Why did I have 14 of those? Must be in the exploration part of last time. Alright, let's go! A hard drive, huh? Shan't concern myself with that. Oh man, hypertubes are great. Make a faster cannon. The people demand it. A person demands it. You know what demands get you around here? Not a whole lot. Have you even looked at Long Dark since the update? No, I don't think so. No, I mean, I've played so much of that game, there isn't an enormous drive left in me to check out more. Not currently, at least. I know the drive will return. Motors. I've got motors by the many. Motor. Wait, didn't you need 300 of those? Ah, yes. However, my galactic brain earlier told me that I would probably want a lot of motors. I really like this crappy little factory setup. It's there to give me the goods when I need it. And if this was in any way a competitive run, I'd be horrified at how slow it's all going. Anyway, I don't think I want the drones quite just yet. I was wanting to do Miner Mark III. I got the frames for you. 1,000 steel pipes should be a triviality. I don't use these boxes so much anymore now that we have so much automated. So much. Well, we've got storage automated. And automation, some people are rolling their eyes at the very accusation there. But only because they know they're wrong. Alright, well, we got some of them. What's taking so long here, anyway? Oh, right, I probably should have done a similar thing for your computers. There you go, there's all the computers that you'll need. You already have all the AI limiters you'll need, but have some more anyway. I seem to have some in my pocket. And then there's you with my high-speed connectors, which still needs silicon quick wire. The hand-feeding meta winning as it always does. The reason Jake stopped playing 7 Days to Die, because it's not set in space, you know, it's true. No, I beat that game. I beat that game well and truly. I think I even did another run of it. Off stream. That or I took the same run and just kept on playing it. I had so much fun with that game, it's amazing. The only thing I want out of that game is more. It just needs another tier. It needs more difficult enemies, better loot, something beyond their current legendary stuff, because currently legendary stuff is too weak and too easy to get. But at the same time, once you reach a certain point, it's very easy to curb stomp everything that gets in your way. Yeah, well, that's going to take a while. Maybe I will get the drones first. And while that's going... Oh yeah, these things take different times to come back. If I send you off, how long is it going to take for the next one?
Milestone reached. Drones provide automated low-capacity aerial transport
10.
between drone stations. Stations need to be supplied with any kind of fuel for the drones to function. Fixit had several restrictions in place prohibiting creative use of drones. I have since removed those because I think no pioneer would ever misuse Fixit property right under their noses. Especially since everything is recorded.
I love how she's got our best intentions in her mind. By the way, what was this? Oh, it's my sink. A sink with all them coupons. Here, take this nonsense that I don't even need. And all will be well. Why do I have 100 alien protein on me? So what's the TLDR on drones? I haven't touched them here. They're almost too good in Factorio. They were so good that Factorio had to rebalance belts rather than nerf drones. I think in times long gone, splitters didn't have logic associated with them, so drones were just the way to go. Now at least it's a bit more competitive. But that doesn't answer any question now, does it? Drones. Oh, I just built a drone. Right, that's not what I imagined. And it needs radio control units. That I also... Oh, it needs miners. Okay, suddenly the automated miner recipe makes a bit more sense, and I'm almost glad I took it. This drone is huge. Tell me more about the drones. Okay, speaking of huge... High-speed connectors and radio control units are needed for this. Both of which I struggle to make. Sounds a lot like I should automate these kinds of things. This is my go-to high-speed connector thingamajigger, right? Take some more silica and some more quick wire, if you please. Let's try and puzzle this out. It's sounding a lot like I'm going to have to automate high-speed connectors and computers, and probably supercomputers if I need to do phase 4 here. Which means a lot of just electronics basically need to be automated, it seems. What quality of life do you think this game is missing? Oof. I know I've already been playing it for quite a while, but I think it's too early to say. I suppose I don't feel a lot of quality in my life whenever I use the map. This whole thing needs to just work better. How about some smooth scrolling for one? How about some clearer scrolling? How about more information here? At a glance, where's my factory? Oh, I don't know, there's no information here. It would be nice to actually see the buildings I put show up here. These are a pain to interact with. Yeah, just the UI, basically. Playing the game is generally fine. It's a tall mark of respect that I haven't actually modded this game at all so far. Normally when I play a game like this, after maybe 15 hours, I go straight to Nexus mods and try and mod everything I want into it. But I haven't had a strong desire for that in this game. Right, I am still thinking that I'm going to need that drone port. I want to look and see what it's made of. Oh yeah, inventory sorting. Inventory sorting is a bit of a pain. Auto sorting, that'd be nice, and I know there's a mod for it. So when I get my supercomputers, we'll get the leading edge production allowing top tier mining, and maybe unlock some MAM recipes, speaking of which. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I will concede the limited inventory slots early on cheesed me off, but we did fairly rapidly get access to more slots, and as soon as dimensional storage became a thing, that was great. That's a definite no. Ooh, hello! Heat exchanger is something I'll be starting to make. And this one's made out of aluminium plating and rubber. The output speed is improved, although the recipe requires oil processing rather than copper. Copper feels like a cheaper, easier thing to do here. Especially since copper is already involved in the creation of the casing, so why would I ever want this alternative? I'm not seeing it, but it's definitely going to be better than bolted iron plate, so give me some of that. And let's keep analysing the hard drives. Once you have the infinite zoop mod, you never go back, but you can't mod in 1.1 yet. Oh yeah, well, modding on experimental is going to be dangerous by design. Yeah, danger by design. Alright, once the next batch of these are done, I'll have everything I need. Plastic seems fine. Everything seems fine, actually. I might not even need more of you, but I will need more of these for my drone thingamajigger. So that's a good enough reason to still have this running. I really want to check out the drone ports. Or the drone port. I need to see how it works. But that requires that radio control unit, which we don't know enough about, right? I could make a few of these. I could absolutely make a few of these. I like this because it's more radio control units per oscillator and it doesn't involve the computer. But yeah, it sounds like I just want an electronics factory. But it's going to need to be located somewhere that has a lot of the goods I'm looking for in one place. Which is probably going to be our job for today. Electronics factory. Hopefully it doesn't need steel. Because I don't want to also build up a steel factory. What is this? What in the world is that? That's a new icon. Or a new way of showing an icon. I know it's water, but... what water? Yeah, I did select the blue crater as a potential factory location, and I've not built anything there yet. Notably, it has access to oil. It's got pure iron. It's got sulfur. It's got coal. It's got copper. But we need quartz. Hey, would you look at that? We've got quartz. Impure. Pure. Might make better use of the pure one and reroute it over here. I think this is a quartz thing that we found way at the start of the game, and I went, ooh, this looks interesting. Shoved it into a sink maybe and never looked back. Something to perhaps investigate, but later. Oh, right, you. I want a radio control unit. Maybe more than one. Alternative? Yeah, alternatives, please. Circuit boards, casing, rubber, and oscillator. Give me my casing. Give me my oscillator. And I already forgot the other thing, but I think it was rubber. I am the king at forgetting. Whoa, you crank out 6 at a time. Bless the schloops. That is me at 64 plus 34, so this is the last supercomputer that I need. Donk. And I see little reason to make more than I need, so the rest of you can just king awa. Unless I suddenly decided I need this or something else. Maybe I should have left it built so I don't need to worry about the schloop situation again, where it doesn't double the first output. But even so, that should do me for now. Now, about this drone port. How do you operate? Well, it's a drone port, all right. It has innies and it has outies. 2 in, 1 out? I guess, how do you logic the out part? It can only have 1. There can be only 1. Tell me about yourself. Oh lordy, what are we looking at here? No drones, no power, fuel type. The time it takes for a drone to travel to this port, connect to and back, not available. Fuel, probably fuel time. Energy for the port itself. Transfer rate, outgoing, ingoing. Arlanda. Oh no, please do not remind me of Arlanda. Not that bad as airports go, but it reminds me of arriving into Sweden. Then again, it also reminds me of getting out of there. So. How about a drone? Show me a drone itself. Hey, hello drone. Is that going to change what we see here? Not really, probably not until it has some power. I don't plan on giving you power and trying this out, and I probably need another one anyway. I think the sloops don't work in the first one. Same logic with the speed ups. The current cycle runs without settings. Change speed midway, it'll only change next cycle. Yeah, but it just feels like it's an unnecessary thing to get in your way. But maybe it's there to discourage hand feeding. Okay, I'm not so convinced that we'll be doing drones just yet. Maybe set that up when I have goods that I actually need to move around. But first, I want my top tier miner, please.
The Miner Mark III provides top-of-the-line resource extraction potential, making it even easier to contribute to project assembly. Project part number 8, the thermal propulsion rocket, is the most complex project part of this phase as it requires turbo motors, and thus requires your best. Fix it, didn't think pioneers such as you could get this far. I am glad we have both proven them wrong.
I'm doing my everything here, Ada. Looks like I need that nuclear pasta as part of this, but I should have everything else understood, right? There's thermal propulsion rocket, that's one of the items needed. The other two being... what are the other two, actually? I don't recognize those jubs up there, I'll need to check. at Project Assembly. I think the drones are used to carry out low output big boy items. Yeah, that's what I'm imagining. Special deliveries. Right, Assembly Director System. Do I even know what that is? Apparently I do. And you're made from, oh boy, supercomputers. So I definitely need to make my computer factory. And the adaptive control unit looks like it would lean into that a bit. It requires... it's going to require steel, isn't it? Yeah, I never did automate heavy modular frames. But automated wiring requires stators, which is fairly simple stuff. Alternative automated high-speed wiring looks like it could also be done in the computer zone. Yeah, and it has much faster output and better ratios off of these stators. I don't mind making lots of wire. And we will have copper available. So, okay, we're going to need computer-related stuff. But that's only for one of the pieces here. What's the other thing? A magnetic field calculator. We don't know about that. Okay, I need to figure that one out then. We need a thermal propulsion rocket, which we just unlocked, and that requires, oh boy, fused modular frames. So I am definitely going to need a steel factory because that needs the heavy modular frame. What is this? Nitrogen gas. That should be very simple, right? Just mine it out and stick it into one of those empty containers, which is just aluminium, which we've already set up. So this seems relatively simple. The cooling system is what? A heat sink, nitrogen, water, rubber, and the heat sink seems fairly basic, especially since we have options for it. Okay. But this is just another part of making the propulsion device. Turbo motors are... Wait, turbo motors use the cooling system? And the RCU, and the motor and the rubber. And then there's modular engines, which seem to be by far the easiest thing here. The most complicated thing it has is smart plating, and that's no longer complicated. Seems like I'll have access to all of this stuff over at my proposed blue crater factory, but it does look complicated. And this is, again, only to make one additional part. We still don't know how nuclear pasta works. At least I don't know how nuclear pasta works, and we didn't figure out that other one either. What was it? Magnetic field generator and thermal propulsion rocket and nuclear pasta. Which of these look like they unlock a magnetic field jub for me? Just pipe in the nitro. I plan on it. There's my magnetic field generator. And that's another 50 supercomputers right there. I'm not sure I want to hand feed another 50 supercomputers. I should just have those made in my supercomputer factory. But think about the energy gains that we could have here if I just hand fed another 50 supercomputers. We just made 100. What's another 50? What is another 50? You should really stop delaying automating stuff in the automating game, but automating is intimidating. Do understand. The Jake I knew wouldn't give up hand feeding after 100 yet. Nor should he. I want access to nuclear stuff and nuclear recipes while we're at it. I kind of wish I hadn't deconstructed all my stuff right now. It was foolish, foolish. Absolutely not. Ooh, nitro's here. Once again, nitro rocket fuel. So instead of using turbo fuel and something else, we use nitrogen gas. We still get that output. Done in a blender. But what about plastic smart plating now that I know that I need it for project assembly? By simply adding plastic, I vastly improve the output. Plastic does start involving oil processing with smart plating making, but we have oil nearby where I'll probably be doing all of this. So that's probably not a problem. Fun thing, oh, the stuff you'll be unlocking only makes it more intimidating. Nitro rocket fuel simplifies the production massively. Well, it stops me needing turbo fuel, but turbo fuel isn't difficult to make, is it? How did I make turbo fuel again? Turbo fuel needs a compacted coal, but didn't this... Wait a second. Yeah, no, I make it with heavy oil and compacted coal. Although I have other ways to do it. And now you're telling me that this can cut out the compacted coal part. You know what, let's give it a go. Who knows how much, if any, of that we're going to be using. Alright, get me out of here. 50 supercomputers, you say? Wait, 50 supercomputers was the only problem. Yeah, I think it was. I rather think it was. Alright, manufacturer. You know what I need. But before you do anything, how about you make me some computers? Just to speed up that. There we go. That'll sort out the schloopy part. And I believe I needed more of the high-speed things for the supercomputers. Alright, you've already done one. Good. Give me some more quick wire. And then I can do much and such the same here. So, just 50 supercomputers. Very, very simple. That's going to need more plastic. Do I have more AI limiters? Just imagining people screeching at this kind of gets me through it. A lot of work, this game. I would like all of the plastic, please. In addition to the plastic, I need those AI limiters and computers. But I should only need 50 computers over here. I'll grab 100 just in case. Who's got my computers? You've got my computers. You also got my chips. I may need those. May need a few of these things. Anything else here going to be in demand for what I'm doing here? Probably not, although hey. I moved all that quick wire over there. It's nice to know I don't use those boxes so much anymore. Right, supercomputer. There you go. AI limiters, though. AI limiters. Oh, thank goodness I made a ton of them. Then it really just is the high-speed connectors. And I guess to a lesser extent, making sure I have the plastique. Why am I making computers here? I needed to make high-speed connectors. Which will, of course, require silica. With all those circuit boards and all these coming out, I think we can have a really glorious hand-feeding time. Give me all of the silica. Give me all of the quick wire. Enjoy the quick wire. Enjoy the silica. You're already topped up on circuit boards. And let's make sure the output's coming out here. Figuratively nothing wrong with just hand feeding. He became like a bot in Factorio himself, putting down provider chests. What is that, Nitro? Doesn't sound like me. Alright, it works good. So 50 supercomputers, and we'll fill up the rest that you need here. I can't imagine I need to do nuclear anytime soon. Then again, I think we went down from here to up to here when doing the aluminium factory, so maybe. But bear in mind, I can expand the oil production by a lot currently. The only reason I couldn't build more was because I was short on motors, and now I'm anything but short on motors. So I think I'll double up my power production whilst this is being produced. In the meantime, though, what is all this? 1,000 wires, 200 heavy modular frames. Oh god, I don't have those, do I? I got 112. Oh, well, that's fun and funny. Oh, thank goodness. I'm just a little bit over. It was never a problem. Concrete and cables. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1,000 and... Oh, hang on. What happened to all the concrete I had here? I remember a day of concrete. I guess you're just disappearing for now then. You're a Mark 1 anyway. Well, the nice thing about concrete, or one of the many nice things about concrete, is it stacks up to 2,000 here. And you should see how fast that concrete gets uploaded. Even faster than I can thank North Gone South for those subs. Cheers. You're saying, I've been I will start again. I've been a blast so far watching you go through this blind. I'm happy to see you stick with it this far. Here's some lunch money to keep you going. Why, thank you. But I live in Hungary. That's practically buying a house money. I much appreciate it. As for keeping on going, I don't think that's really a problem here. I'm having great fun with it. And there's very clear goals, so I don't really feel any kind of intimidation or need to slow down or stop. Maybe other people think that'd be a threat, not me. What in the world? I don't have loads of limestone in the dimensional uploader? How could this be? I love how quickly that stuff all comes back. It's almost like I have stack inserting going. Alright, come on. Where are my supercomputers? I am waiting here. Ah, that's right. There's maybe a bit more computers needed than I thought. And Acronymous is there to echo the sentiment. Although it looks like they're just trying to grind up that number. Might as well pay some infrastructure as well. Don't worry, your infra debt has long been paid. God, infra. I guess I'll keep these things topped up on quick wire and silica. The hand-feeding meta demands so much. Imagine what a different game it could be if you could actually just sort out dimensional unloading in an automated manner. But I suppose that would probably break a lot of things. It would make drones completely useless for one. Although if each of them cost mercers, maybe an increasing amount of them, then you could have some, but it would be... I still think it would be too imbalanced. Almost like fighting against those cavern wights and dominions. Alright, there we go. So at least we have some of these on hand if needed. Don't worry. Once I have my supercomputer and I have this sorted, we'll be able to actually start automating. Right now, though, I would really like to go and double up my power. I could actually quadruple my power, which might actually be even more sensible. Hypertube, you know where I need to go. I did not find how to use the quick access bar. I do not understand how to apply concrete appearance by default on the foundations. By default. If you go to your foundations here, you select it here. Here's the normal one that you know and love. But if you go concrete, then you get the concrete one. You need to buy the concrete one for the fix-it shop, though. Oh. Whee! Looks like dimensional loaders have two sides. No, dimensional loaders only have one side. If they have a second side that I've not noticed all this time, then that is baffling even for me. I wonder if these things could take rocket fuel. Guess it's not really relevant for us. We have everything we need for this. That's strange. What's going on here? I don't have empty canisters for my fuel here. You're meant to be filling it up with packages that get sent out here. But I thought I would have had you filled right up. Do I actually have... what are they called anyway? Canisters? Do I have those automated in storage? I do. Okay, in that case. In you go. And then out comes packaged turbo fuel. Slowly and not quite assuredly. See, the hand-feeding meta strikes again. Right, so we have an ungodly amount of turbo fuel coming out of here and the capacity to double that. I completely forgot the ratios that I put in here, but I think it was something like 17, of which you build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and I wanted more. Shouldn't be surprised that I want more. Tempting. A lot less tempting. Aluminium beans. I'd never want this over pure Caterium. Well, it's a use for petroleum coke, but it's still the same ratio on Caterium as pure, so a waste of time. Keep it going. You can start by fixing your compacted coal factory. You had a Mark III belt somewhere limiting its output to 270. Somewhere, huh? I don't recall having that kind of issue, but I could double check if it makes you feel better. And it might really make me feel better as well. Gosh, this stuff is loud. Yeah, because each of these things eat 18.25... Wait, I have them schlooped up to max? Why would I do that to myself? Probably because my production of turbo fuel is otherworldly, right? We make 32 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 320. $320 divided by 18.75 was 17. Currently I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And I'll just put in a wee cheeky breaky over here. Alright, there we go. See that line going up, but here's the problem. This is only half of the oil generation. I want to double it. So I want to build this again over here. Hopefully that doesn't get in the way. Shouldn't, but it might. Slight issue, of course, being that this wasn't completed. Why was this never completed? Probably a motor problem. Yeah, I built one of them. Good start. Alright, not to worry. Are you already configured? No? Your configuration is making alternative turbo fuel, right? Just want to double check that what I have over here is right. What is the end point of this game? Trying to reach a particular development level? There's a project that we're building up there, and we need to produce parts and send them up. But the parts are rapidly scaling up in complexity and sheer quantity required. So this is what's needed, huh? Guess so. Compact coal and heavy oil residue. Just copy that and make sure it's pasted over here. Now it is. And then I can copy you and paste you over here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Looks good. Do I have any fancy shenanigans going on? It's just pipe, belt, and residue. Do I care that these pipes clip? I mean, a little bit, but not enough, I don't think. Nah. Although I would probably care enough to have Mark IIs here. Hang on. Do they come together, or is it just one-to-one? Looks like it's one-to-one. Yeah, because you pop out 40 and you consume, would you believe it, 40. Yeah, exactly. We're saving the world here. The world is drying up. It's like Claire Redfield, not to mention all the mention of kittens. We need to be the Leon S. Kennedy here and save the Redfield bloodline. And if that joke flies over your head, then I don't know what to do for you. How about some power? Power is good. But where do I log in? You'll do. Actually just finished my run of Bannerlord last night. Finally beat the game. I'm not sure if I've ever actually beaten the game by assembling the dragon banner and doing all that stuff, because that's not where the fun is. Not at all. Whoops, this might have ended up being superfluous. Well, whatever. Power is good. At the run I did in Bannerlord, I made my clan the Raccoon City Police Department and just named all my companions after characters from Resident Evil. It was pretty difficult getting women. Because I did it through promoting soldiers into companions, and only female soldiers are the... what are they called again? The Sword Sisters? And the Gallant Sword Sisters? Cool units, but yeah, a pain. Right. Compacted coal is coming on this Mark IV belt, but we suspect at some point it won't be enough. We can test that by linking it up and then checking the throughput rate with the brand new throughput mate monitor. Rate monitor, not the mate monitor. That sounds like a very different thing. Can't I just build that right now? What's it called anyway? No, is it throughput A? And I'm very happy to report that they don't need power, because that would be a pain. It's going to take a while for you to figure out what it is, because it stops and starts due to only being half of its throughput right now, or half of its demand, rather. So it just goes down and feeds into these. So I need only do that by that word that I keep forgetting. Yes, that one. I keep extending these too high when I'm flying up like that. Let's try and stay a bit more level. Said I didn't mind the clipping, but I'm doing this anyway. It actually makes it easier to set up the splitter. I will concede. Will you snap to that thing's position? You will? Oh, well. You are a dreamboat. There we go. I'm pretty happy with this, but I wonder, am I going to discover that nuclear is an order of magnitude stronger than this and then suddenly feel like a fool? Feels possible. There we go. So now you should start enjoying that and making me turbo fuel. Very good. But you guys spit out polymer, and that polymer needs to be fed into here. But this is already a merger. It's almost as if I considered this from the get-go. I am proud of me. So I'm going to merge from incoming to outgoing. Ooh, this won't fit, will it? No, however, consider that this can go away, and then I can screw everything up. That's always a consideration. Oh, easy now, this can't afford to back up. Cannot afford to back up. Mark III all the way. So surely I could just line you up like so. Change your orientation. And then do that. Everybody wins. Have you heard about a new feature of the Blueprint Auto-Connect? Yes, I was using that to auto-connect my rail lines earlier on. Although it was my first time using the blueprints like that anyway, so it didn't feel like a new feature to me, it just felt like something I should expect. It was difficult to get work, though, with the railways at least. They just did not want to go the way I wanted them to go. Right, so merge and output this direction. Is this how most people do it? Do they do the belts in the air and then the pipes on the ground, or is there another more sensible way about this? Works a lot better with conveyors and pipes, yeah, I can imagine that. Although I haven't really tried blueprinting anything that involves belting or piping. Maybe at some point I will want to do that, but it feels like everything you make in this game is so tailor-made to the situation. The recipes, the ingredients, the throughputs that you end up with your schlooping and your sharding. It's really hard to say... Okay, that already branches off. Really hard to say that I definitely want XYZ setup. Like, it's hard to make generic builds in my head. That's probably just a my brain problem. I'm surprised you're being fed in so slowly. You'd think with the rate this thing's coming out, they should be blasting out. Something isn't right here. It's because you're built on a kind of conveyor belt, right? So I actually need to upgrade you to Mark V. No, it's still not happy. Is there a bit under the merger where the merger can't work fast enough? Let's redo this. I have a... Oh, there's the offending piece right there. I understand now. I don't want a splitter, I want a merger. Oh, it really didn't like that. Are we still live? No! An Unreal process has crashed. Unreal Engine -Factory game. Okay, well, send and close then. Okay, so do not put a splitter over multiple bits of belt then. And to think I waited for this game not to be in early access, this is what I get for playing 1.1. Alright, please come back to me, Satisfactory, and... We just saw it autosave, so I'm not too concerned here. That is actually the second time we have been boggled by a merger. Remember when we were trying to bring the coal up through a hole yesterday? And the game insisted that it didn't want to do that. Not every game's beta branch could be as stable as Factorio. I'm not sure Factorio has ever crashed for me. And I have put many hundreds of hours into that game now. Okay. We're just back where we were, with the exception of polymer resin being cranked out. However, with what we know now, we can do such diabolical things as this. You be gone. That is going to back up, and that is going to be very unhappy backing up. I did buffer the turbo fuel though, so maybe it'll be fine for a little while. So what I should probably do before anything else is set this part up. So out you come like so. I'm going to shove onto you the merger. You're going to pop out from here. And then you are also going to be a merger that pops out the other direction. And you're going to be like so. And then you go in like so. And then you go in like so. You shouldn't need to be Mark 5 on that, but it needs to be Mark 5 coming out of this bad boy. And then down we go, down we go. I like it straight. Can you do straight? Never not okay. And then we're sorted. Blessed be the autosave. Whilst we're waiting to rebuild this, perhaps you in chat could help me out, make me feel better about our minute amount of time loss, by telling me about a game that you have played where you were done in by a lack of autosave, but you thought the game would autosave, or you just hadn't considered it. Maybe you played an ancient game from times long gone, before autosave was considered a standard feature, and then you lost hours of progress. Maybe you were taking part in a Mario Marathon, and you thought, oh, of course the game would save. Well, that's funny, because actually Super Mario All-Stars does autosave. Subnautica, says North. What? I thought Subnautica autosaved for sure. I don't recall losing progress in that game. Then again, I have forgotten a lot about Subnautica by now. Kingdom Come Deliverance, it only autosaves on quest key points. You can lose hours of grinding by accident. Yes! Oh, I do think that happened to me in Kingdom Come Deliverance. No. That happened to me in Monster Hunter Wilds. Oh, that one hurt. I believe I spent about 2.5 hours hunting endemic life in Monster Hunter Wilds. And then, whilst I was trying to cram as many racial slurs as I could into my reactions of the hunter, the game crashed. And I thought, well, that's fine. This game autosaves every time you return to camp. No, it autosaves every time you return to camp after a hunt, not after just hunting endemic life. So I had to go and redo all of my hunter reactions, and I suppose I had to hunt those endemic life again. Upgrade the belt right before the sink. Yeah, good point, because that's clogging things up. Get stuck in. Oh yeah, look at that throughput. Look at that stuff go. I wonder, did the problem somehow involve the throughput thingy that I put on here? Because notice, that's gone. No, it was surely something to do with the placing of this merger. That said, let's do a little safety save, shall we? Here's a fun thing. At the end of last stream, I'm sure you noticed, or probably didn't care at all, that I saved over long play 11 because, well, I like to keep an incrementing number for each of the streams that I do here. And 11 was a number, so I just saved over it. Let's try saving over it again, shall we? Actually, before we do any funky stuff. Let's actually call it long play 12. Huzzah, long play 12 is saved, and as you can see, we've clocked, frankly, far too many hours on this. But what I did was I overwrit this save. Your game was saved. Was it? Let's load long play 11. Because I'm pretty sure it didn't load or save over long play 11. No. So when I loaded my save this morning, or wasn't morning, but an hour or so ago, I was greeted with this, and I went, oh god, where did all my progress go? Remember this? We were doing some fun things floating at the edge of the map. I have a funny feeling the game glitches out when it has a save where you're out of bounds like this, and it doesn't want to save. That or there's some 1.1 stuff, but this was run on 1.1 as well. Fortunately though, autosaves to the rescue, so Bring me back, please. Absolutely saved, young, because yes, I was otherwise scuppered. Feels good, doesn't it? When you've got a deity of luck looking over you at every moment. Right, what are those throughput conveyor things? I want to have a look-see here. 330 per minute. Well, give it a moment to calculate. Actually, the calculations are going to be shot if these things don't have an output. So we need to sort that right now. How do these things go at the end again? There is literally no justice in the world. Feels great. I don't suppose there's a problem just linking together all of my juice here. I certainly don't see a problem. Might be a little harder to fit with all these green things in the way. Fit are they green things? But as best I can tell, it's just a load of junction pipes, bringing it all down and connecting it here. So yes, I do want them to share just in case. I played Ys 3 on the Sega Master System. The cart had a dead battery. I left the console on for 2 weeks before we had a power outage, and I never got to beat it again. Ooh. Yeah, those oldie games that didn't save. I remember... Why was it not a save issue? But I do remember leaving some games running on the Super Nintendo for much too long. It's a good thing those old consoles, even though they didn't have fans, they had enough heat sinking going on. Plus, old school Nintendium does not break. Although those NES games certainly had some scary graphical glitches. In particular, Swords and Serpents was very prone to it. And it had such creepy music as well. That game creeped me out as a kid. And I've still never beaten Swords and Serpents, because it's a ridiculous game. I like the pipes. There's something so cool about this. It's like a elephant trunk waving around or something like that. Or something like. Mind the throughput limit of the Mark II pipe. Shouldn't be a problem though. We have more than we need here. More throughput than we need. Because we're outputting 32 times 10 on this. Now granted, the two pipes together, if I was putting everything through one pipe, would be too much, but they're feeding in from different locations. The issue might be not reaching the buffer enough, and actually that speaks towards having a second buffer, doesn't it? Come here. Industrial fluid buffer. I think these are omnidirectional. Certainly hope they are. There we go, that should keep this running. And that'll give me a quick view fairly soon at the true throughput of the coal. Yeah, currently I'm not convinced it's all coming out at the rate that we need, but give it some time. How much power do you use right now? Not enough. How are we doing on the power situation? We have capacity for 33 gigawatts. Current consumption 8 gigawatts, or current maximum consumption of 8. I always like to go by the maximum. But we're about to double our capacity right now by having a whole load of these. I shouldn't need this space in general, and this doesn't look like it's going to have the capacity for what I want to build, so it should be fine to just... This isn't going to want to connect, is it? But I can press H, and I can shunt it into space. Oh yeah. Also get zooping. No reason to think it won't be okay. He's thinking hard even. These seem to fit side by side fairly well, right? What is this? Is there not a faster way to do this? Maybe explosives or something? I miss the early days when we just played what we had because that's all we had. I really enjoyed... I really enjoyed a lot of objectively bad games because I didn't have a choice. Oh, absolutely. Where do you think my love of Draken comes from? It doesn't come from the game's great quality. Considering I want to build it out in that direction, right? I guess I could have the pipe sweep around, but I could also just give myself a bit of space here. Let the pipes go through like that. Connect, 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 connect. Give myself a bit of breathing room on here and consider. They're going to need a bit more space between them almost certainly, right? No, I dare to say that will actually fit. Sweet. Dare to believe. And I guess I can have them all connect out at the end here. Yeah, I see no harm in connecting the two at the end. Surely it'll be good. And surely this will cause no problems, having these pipes so close together. This would be a Factorio disaster waiting to happen. You might say, Jake, why are you making all these junctions? I'll go around the bends just fine. We even got straight pipes just for this. To which I say, I don't know. It just feels right. And if it feels good, it can't be wrong. Okay, I guess we're going curvy here. Thank you, Kirby. Yeah, maybe these are a little too close together, but that's of little concern. Also, this is of slight concern. You've got to go. Got to explode in my face. Yeah, straight pipes mode feels like it has a bit too many problems associated with it. But then again, it's not like I've not been having problems with straight belts either. In fact, one could say I've been having nothing short of problems with the straight belts of late. Power. This could do with a Factorio style instant highlighting the power stuff whenever you try to build more power. Because I keep losing track of where they are. Power, 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 power. Power, not pleasant to listen to, but it's very realistic. It reminds me of being in the data center. A job which I highly enjoyed, because I didn't really have to do much of a job. Oh, don't give me that. Actually, really don't give me that. What's your problem there? Works fine here. Wait, you're slightly off, aren't you? Oh, what? Oh, this thing. Come on, power through then. There we go. How's the factory looking today? It's looking fine. If you ignore all the manual feeding that we're doing back at the starting base, which I won't, because I love it. Just trying to get myself through some of the tiers, so that we can go into the next phase, handy-dandy like. Are these automatically getting my schloops? My shards, rather, and yes they are. Do I need more shards? Yes I do. What's your problem here? Get stuck in. So that's 16 of them, but we need 17, or we want 17. So as long as we just pop one more on, we're good. I'm not going to care about the one tiny extra bit that we could get. I could get something like 1/10 of a generator also fed in all of this, but we won't bother. Well, I won't bother. What? I guess it's going in line with that thing. That's no big deal, though. That is a big deal. If I was looking for super clean designs, I wouldn't be doing it on stream, I'll tell you that much. There are things that are more and less enjoyable to do on stream, and super grindy things like that I usually do in my own time. And don't get me wrong, I love a good grinding game. I'm not a Disgaea fan for nothing. I like the grinding game. Perfect. One of them's got to work. I definitely didn't give these machines enough space between them, but if something works, that's good enough. That's why it must be hard to blueprint with such small blueprint designs. Some of these things to look really good necessitates a fair bit of space. I guess there's a certain skill that comes with it. Alright, there we go. That should double up, well, double up and more our capacity. Yeah, there we go. Now I do not fear the blackout. That's a bad pipe. You got a problem with my pipe work. Say it to my face and not online. I have seen worse pipes than this in real life. Don't dare connect these. Actually, what happens when you connect different kinds of fluid? Do they mix? That doesn't sound right. Surely they don't mix. Oh, that's right, I wanted to connect these two to do something resembling balance, but as you can see, we have problems there. Oh, yeah! Going places now. Perhaps we should ask ourselves questions like why. There we go. Now it's all connected and shared, although there's no good reason for that. Because it all should be balanced right from the start. How does that not need a pump? Why would it need a pump? Doesn't have very far to go. There'll be pressure inside the tubes, don't you know? Turbo fuel. Is there a good way to just check at a glance what's running and what's not? For example, why are these not steaming up? Is that a draw distance thing? Ah, it is a draw distance thing, okay. Yeah, it's hard to get a good indication just from looking at them if they're working. I guess the lights are an indication, but it's so bright out, it's hard to tell. Did I misread it, or is there really more than 20 gigawatts through such a pathetic wire? Let's not try to draw realism into this, but yes, this pathetic wire, as you say, which, considering it's only made of copper, is just pure exposed wire. It's actively only needing to bring out 4 gigawatts, but its capacity is 24 gigawatts. Why is the capacity changing? Ah, because I have geysers going, of course. Okay, let's get away from this. This is bringing me way back to my job, my oldie job. So, this doesn't look right. 274. Hang on, I only built up half of the coal I need for this. I still need to double up my compacted coal production, don't I? Yeah, I vaguely recall only making half of that. Why copper and not aluminium? Because it's made of copper? I don't know what kind of answer you're looking for here. I didn't make the game. Whee. Yeah, apparently I missed upgrading one of the belts. But I think the bigger issue is that I'm only doing half of the coal compacting that I need to do. Yeah, these things keep coming back. Passive life when. Also, a more clever person would have brought in power here. See you later. It was a lower level elevator under the foundation. Wow, that's extremely specific. I can't believe you noticed that. Who watches this with such vigor? I thought people just have it on in the background. But yeah, we can definitely see the lack of saturation on the belt here. Because I thought half will be fine for now. And I was right, but right now we are trying to meet demand. Black powder aplenty. Very good. But if one of the things here isn't right, what does that mean? Right, we got a Mark II, Mark IV, Mark IV, Mark IV, Mark IV, Mark IV, Mark III. Who's got the big brains around here? There we go, Mark IV for you. And then everything else is Mark IV, Mark IV, Mark IV. I guess in my head, upgrading this side would upgrade the underside, but it doesn't work like that at all. Alright, there we go. Wait a second. What do you mean nothing's coming through now? Wait a second, what? Where does the coal go? What happened? I'm too scared to ask questions. Maybe if this wasn't here anymore, and then you were here. Also, this is going backwards? Fett? How about we do this then? Mark IV, in you go. And then Mark IV, in you go. What? 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 Okay. Mark 4. In you go. Mark 4. In you go. Good. Good. All is well. Nothing was ever not well. But shouldn't this back up in an ideal world? I completely forgot my ratios here. So these things are eating 25 coal per minute times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Why didn't I write down what I needed here? I do strongly recall needing to double this, though. Yeah, because this looks like it's only half as much as one needs. If that. And the fact that I have plenty of leftover sulfur is probably a good sign as well. So yeah, let's do this again, shall we? Should be
Hard
very
at
simple,
work,
right?
I see.
I am hard at work here, Ada. I'm glad you appreciate what I'm up to. Imagine trying to pitch a game like this 20 odd years ago. Oh yeah, see, it's like having a job. Okay, who's going to want to play this game? I don't know, German people? We agreed we wouldn't call them that. This one has a gap in it. Do I copy the gap as well? I think, yes I do. Whoa, I made another gap here. How does this keep happening? At least these have copied over everything they need, right? Of course they have. And now, and now, and now. It's all already set up, so all I need to do is bring the Mark IIIs out to you. And these things will happily function. And then feed them back in, of course. Yeah, it would be nice to set up a generic blueprint of just constructors and things. Nice, but, you know, effort. Those do line up well enough, right? This is solvable. Wait a second. Wait just a moment. Perhaps I'm doing that one thing I should never do. Thinking too hard. Perhaps the solution was looking me right in the face. Oh, what did I just do there? Don't be Mark 4. Mark 4. Don't be Mark 3, rather. Mark 3 is sad for the main line. Oh, yeah. Think in the third dimension. The belts for the sulfur in the manifold are Mark III. Yeah, that could be a problem. I didn't actually consider the ratio here, have I? But let's just Mark 4 them all up regardless. At this point, Mark 5 is actually easier for me than Mark 4. I guess they only need to be Mark 3 because they get halved. No, they don't get halved. The original idea was they get halved and then go forward, and then this only needed to be Mark 3. Now that's not what happens. Anyway, this should all work fine, provided we power it up, and away we go. Except I have the power on that side and not over here. Please power over here. And by power, I mean actual power poles, none of this Mark 1 nonsense. If you ain't Mark 2, I'm not interested. Power it up, power it up. And it feels really good having extra power at the ready. Yeah, it certainly feels harder to troubleshoot things that aren't working in this game compared to Factorio. God knows how long I would have had those aluminium problems if they weren't pointed out to me in the previous stream. Right, so now we have all of this coming out. We want to manifold collect it at the end and punch it into this right here. Brilliant. Promising development. I'm making progress. I think there's a mod that helps with that with throughput issues. Nice to solve problems without using mods, though. Plus, with Factorio, that's a game I'm more than happy to play without mods. In fact, at this point, are there any mods that I really run on Factorio? I have the one that shows evolution percentage, just to stop me typing evolution into the bar. Into the console command bar. Sometimes I put on fireproof bots, sometimes I don't. It's very annoying that bots are not fireproof. I wouldn't mind if they weren't fireproof but actually just didn't fly suicidally into fire. But I'm sure Woob know what they're doing. Alright, and out it flows. Comes together on 2 Mark IIIs and then out on a Mark IV. Is that right, though? What is the Mark IV throughput? 480. That should be right, because I'm bringing in 480 sulfur. I should be bringing in 480 coal, although I will double check on that. And then out pops 480 compacted coal. Are you doing 480 coal? You wouldn't dream of anything less than that. Good. You need Mark V for 640 coal. You telling me I need 640 coal for my setup? Compacted coal, that is. I guess I could run the numbers. I might need that, it's possible, but I should go and check. You can't get 640 coal from here, you need a Mark III miner. I need what now? Could it be that I need the Mark III miner? Oh god, it needs supercomputers. I didn't sign up for that. Well, it's a good thing I very cleverly hand-feed automate the production of supercomputers. I was tempted by that slug, but not if it's defended by one of those really annoying things. Right, so now all the coal, or the compacted coal rather, coming in should be the good stuff. But you've made me want to check my numbers. Because a brownout sounds pretty good, or a blackout rather. I never even checked my production numbers then, but this should be reading 480, right? Or whatever number I just said previously. Whatever, I'm sure it's close enough. I have no reason to believe it's not going to be fine. Oh, see there, it's picking up. Should be making its way all the way to 480. And it is going up. Oh, that's a good sign. That's a very good sign. But the question at hand was, do I need that much coal? I consume 30 22 per minute times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. 20 times 30. Oh, don't tell me that number. So you're saying I need 640 compacted coal per minute. That's not the number we agreed on. But it's a number we could make happen thanks to the power of aluminium. Let's go. Will my machines output this amount of coal? Do I have enough assemblers for this? That's a scary thought. Also, it's a little awkward given that this is under my black powder line, but we can make it work. I'd love to make my rocket fuel work. I should look into that as well. But rocket fuel required the nitrogen, right? Yeah, we need nitro. Hang on, maybe there's nitric acid around here. Or nitro gas that we can turn into that stuff. The fact that I'm having to wait to find anything does not bode well for this. Hey, that's not that far. But what does that mean? What does this interface mean? Is there a limited amount or something? Well, there's one in Aeon away. The thing is, it's also over here. Maybe it means the whole region? Telling me that it's two impure, 3 normal, and 1 pure? That doesn't seem to add up, though. There are multiple spots to harvest in one zone. Sounds like quite a bit, then. So it sounds like I could bring it over and make some rocket fuel, but would I need rocket fuel? There's another question. Lots of questions associated with this, but one step at a time. First step is making sure that my power doesn't go out. And that all my needs are met. And may all your Christmases be something something. Pretty hard to tell the difference between Mark 4 and Mark 5 at a glance. But yes, extremely grateful for the automation of aluminium right now. Would not like the prospect of not having that taken care of right now. Ah, yes. There are more, aren't there? There are always more. Wrong lift, Jake. Really? It certainly looks like coal. Yes. Nice thing about this game is since the resources are infinite, it's not really such a bad thing to just have everything at maximum level. Although I think I could just be making everything out of Mark 5s, but I think it's not as cozy looking when things are flowing by way too fast. Yeah, man. Alright, took a bit, but there we are, Mark 5. But that might mean that I don't have enough stuff flowing in. Oh, that is a concern, right? Do I actually make that much? If I make 25 of this times what was it, 12? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's 250, that's 325 on each side, which is slightly more than necessary. That's good. And then I need to make sure that that amount is coming out of our mines as well. Also needs this stuff to be Mark 5 then to get all that stuff coming in. Ugh. Did I already Mark 5 it? Clearly not. I need you right now, please. Good thing we've already got those supercomputers, because I'm going to need that to upgrade the sulfur as well. Boy, that upgrade blueprint from Factory would start feeling really good right now. Right, so you're telling me I cannot go higher than 600. I need 600 and... what was the number? 40? What were you currently at? 480. And we're going to 600 and... yeah, Christ. At least somebody wrote in chat. This is why I need my pen and paper. 640, huh? You're also eating some for black powder. Only when needed. So that's when the extra surplus is rather handy. There's a second coal node, and it's close. I don't doubt that. Look, it's right there. But I could just upgrade this thing, and all would be well. That's not the right thing. I want my miner. Miner Mark III. Boom! Using all those materials that I needed for Phase 4, but still, boom. And you need to be coughing up 640, please. Not 340. 640, please. I'll have those back. Actually, I'll leave them in. No, I won't. Alright, that's a good sign. But what's a better sign is working on the sulfur as well. Do I have the gubbins to also make another miner Mark 5? Yeah, Mark 3 rather. Yes, I do. The only reason I do is because I found some goodies next to the crash sites. Otherwise, I might be in something resembling trouble. But, never known trouble in my life. Why would it start now? Let's go Mark 5ers. And let's go jetpack. Why does that get rid of what I'm currently building? I thought the miner went straight into a lift there, but I can check. I'll be checking to see if all the goods are flowing at the correct rate once this is done after all. Oh boy, this is awkward to do. Maybe I should be doing it on the way back, but surely it's good to have the double pass. When I'm eventually turning this game into a roller coaster tycoon, I'll be able to use the different speeds for different needs. I can have Mark 1 do the slow ascent, make it act like a chain lift. Hey, is this nitrogen? Or is that water? Nitrogen gas, you say? Is this the nitrogen gas we were looking at? Could be relevant. Yeah, I can see there's a lot of different nodes here. How do I even mine that stuff? This warrants investigation. You warrant dying. I'm a hair's breadth away from turning on peaceful mode. I'm getting sick of fighting things in this game. I'm getting sick of being killed by things as well. Yeah, early on in the game, the fighting is interesting because it's a way to prevent you going places. Now I have the tools to kill them, but you don't have that cool sense of automating their destruction like you do in Factorio. Yeah, I've convinced myself. Where in the world is that? I'm assuming there's some kind of... Ah, here we go. Hostility. Retaliation, that sounds good. So if I attack them, they'll attack back, but they're not going to keep doing annoying things to me. Right, so how does this work? Nitrogen gas. How does one mine nitrogen gas? Do they perchance use a miner? That looks like a no. What are my other options? A resource well pressurizer. Activates a resource well by pressurizing the underground resource. Place it on a resource well. But what about an extractor? Collects pressurized resources when placed on the activated sub-nodes of a resource well. So what, you go in the middle, and of course I've gone in complicated matters here, haven't I? We are missing heavy modular frames. Okay, that stands to reason. I need to automate those as well. Maybe I do need to build a steel smelter array. A proper one, that is. One that makes steel and steel-related products. But once you go down, we put these on little baby nodes, and then they pop out 60 cubic meters of fluid per minute with a head lift of 10. Aluminium required. Also, oil extractor? Oh, that's specifically for the oil. Yes, of course. So I could get my nitro here. Let me consider what could be done with that nitro. Pop out the nitrogen gas, and we make nitrogen rocket fuel. Wait, how's the gas made? I guess it comes out as a fluid, and then we package it using the empty fluid tank. But do I have to? Do I have to? I could just pipe it as is, mix it with the fuel, as well as coal and sulfur. That's a bit, you know... Don't really have coal and sulfur going spare, do we? And then... rocket fuel. I mean, we have coal and sulfur right here. I could bring it over to there, and then I just siphon off a bit of what will surely be excessive coal production, just enough to make rocket fuel, and then that's easy enough to automate. It's a gas, not a fluid. It works the same way in-game, except it doesn't need pumps. Fascinating. Alright, let's make sure this stuff is all leveled up, and then let's consider bringing out rocket fuel. Is rocket fuel needed for anything other than just fueling my jetpack? Maybe it's you... Oh, I hope it's not burnt as something for the generators. I'm already pretty happy with my turbo fuel setup. It's more power. Okay, well, I'm still happy with my turbo fuel setup. Complicating it with something else seems like an exercise in pain. Alright, so... Miner. Yeah. And then we wanted this up at 6 something. Is it 640? Look at that go. For your information, Jake, a main bus base does work in Satisfactory, just not a raw resource. Pull the intermediate stuff like reinforced plates, steel plates, concretes, etc. A main bus is very doable. You'll not really need more than one belt of each intermediary, and in such a base, it's much easier to produce things like heavy modular frames and computers, etc. Yeah, I think what I'll be doing is I'll be setting up separate factories and then moving them around. Possibly via trains, possibly via drones, possibly via massive belts. I have not yet decided. Whee! Doesn't take me around corners quite so well. But this all seems to be running fine. Yeah, drones sound easy but expensive. And that seems fine by me. I just need to automate the parts needed for the drones. I'm looking forward to the roller coaster. So what I imagine is going to happen with this long play is I'll beat the game. You know, easy baby game for kids. I'm sure that'll be no problem. And then I will probably end up playing it for another 100 or so hours in my own time. And then once all that is done, I'll probably make a roller coaster. And then, I don't know, just post a video of just that. I don't want to go to the effort of making all that on stream. Some things are much more enjoyable to do on stream than others. The drones use rocket fuel. Yeah, I need to experiment with drones and see how all that works. But of course, I also need. What do I need? Oh, I need something. I need to work on automating the parts needed for all of that. Are you still committed to not doing a perfect run of this? Sounds like an excellent way to not have a life anymore. And whilst it might seem like everything I do in every waking hour of my life is just play games, and you're not far off, I do like having time for other things as well. Alright, so the minor 69ers are in full operation. Why is this not saturated? Mark 5 belt can have 780. Okay, so it's not going to be saturated, but I can, at this point, check and see. The conveyor... Wait, what? What? C-O-N? N brought up the thing. Okay. Never mind that. Oh, I see. When you move off of it. Yeah, okay. Don't move off of it then. See what I mean? My biggest problems in this game are UX. Feels like it never quite advanced beyond early access in the UX sense. Give me information, please. We want this to read 640 per minute, and that's not what we're reading right now. Also... Okay, I was worried about that. I thought some sulfur wasn't moving. The manifold is not Mark 5, and thus that needs to change. The manifold not being... Oh, hang on. Here's a bit of the problem. Right here. Yeah, this does still need to be Mark 5 because it doesn't split in half. The coal doesn't need to be Mark 5 all the way down because it... Oh, that does as well. I have a different design in my head compared to how I've actually built this thing. Funny that. I totally agree, the UX of the menus suck, but the game itself is great. I think suck's putting it a bit far. It has some grievances. Grievances that I'd far prefer not be there. I'll just do the whole thing. There we go. And now we will gaze in wonder as this increases. Gives me a chance to grab a quick drink as well. Remember, number go up is fun. If number go up was not fun, nobody would play Victoria 3. Wait. Hydrate, don't dehydrate. You never need to worry about me not drinking enough. I drink a ton. Especially when I'm playing DDR. I prepare myself 4 bottles of water. 5 actually, when I play DDR. It's growing, but... I guess some of the ones at the back here are still waiting to get their sulfur and their coal, right? Because of the way the manifold works, it takes a while for everything to balance out. But once we get to that stage, things should be good. By the way, one of my favorite roller coasters I've ever ridden on was called the Dueling Dragons. It was a couple of roller coasters that launched in unison, and the way that the roller coasters moved around made it feel like you were on a collision course with the other one. And it was also a suspended roller coaster, so your little leggies are flying out, and they do things like inversions where your leggies are kicking out and their leggies are kicking out, and you feel like if you stretch far enough, you're going to kick the people on the other ride. Never could, though, but distance calculations in the head are askewed when riding roller coasters. Point is, when I look at this, all I can think of is how cool it would be to do the Dueling Dragons ride in this game. Roller coasters are good. Alright, it's all coming out at Mark 5. How's our rate looking? The rate continues to accelerate, so I'm fairly confident we have everything we need set up here. Each side is Mark 3, so the output max is 540. Really? You're telling me this needs to be upgraded as well? You're right. I actually need a lot more Mark 5. Very peculiar numbers for these conveyor belts. Again, it doesn't have to all be upgraded, but since resources are infinite, there's no good reason not to do this. There we go, now that should speed up even better, although that still isn't answering why the ones at the back there aren't getting all that they need. I still suspect it's a time issue. Oh yeah, there we go. Now we're seeing the surge. You need a few Mark 5s in the aluminium factory as well, but that's another discussion. Need is putting it a bit high. As long as the byproduct water is getting consumed, there is no need for more. Even if it made 1 aluminium ingot a minute, it would in time deliver us all we need. Funny the staggered rate at which the compacted coal comes out. Alright, that's a promising enough number. I am certain that we can handle that. Was there anything else I was trying to do here? Yeah, we were talking about rocket fuel. Should we do rocket fuel while we're here? We just need to go out, pump out the... oh god, where was it? I don't know, somewhere where the sulfur was. We just need to grab the nitro, pipe it over here, and all I really need to do is... actually, the problem is I also need this bleeding sulfur moved down. It might even be easier to bring the fuel over here, even if that is a requirement of moving water uphill. You need the heavy modular frames. I need, what, a heavy modular frame, and I think I can do that as I stand. Rocket fuel. One of many things I want to produce. Is that really the only way to make rocket fuel? Looks like it. No, wait, there's the alternative, of course. But this one just needs the raw nitro instead of the acid. If I have the acid, I don't need to worry about the sulfur and the coal. But then I don't have excess turbo fuel to spare, do I? We use it all. That's not true, that's not true. We can always siphon some off if this stuff doesn't need to be used excessively. The generators can handle any lack of power. Yeah, the alt needs fuel, not turbo fuel, but that's not really such a big deal, is it? I just don't want to belt down sulfur and coal. Feels like a pain in the bum. But how do I make this nitric acid? We don't know. We know how to use it, but not how to make it. What a bizarre situation. I wonder why that is. You could use a poo... yeah, I'm considering that. I bring it down to my little crappy plastic factory, which is totally temporary. And that's fine, because we have other nodes that we could make use of, or we could tear this down. You're making turbo straight out of heavy oil, though, so there's no fuel to convert. Yeah, I might just siphon off... oh god, let's have a look here. Yeah, the fact that I can't make the nitric acid is the problem here. So I could just grab some of the fuel from the plastic factory and then make this, because all I need to do is pipe over the gas. I need to pipe over the sulfur and stuff. It was bad enough bringing these belts over. I should have made a more structured approach here. Something with foundations and the like, and there's nothing stopping me still doing that. And I think that is what I will do. The rate of the sulfur and the coal coming over, is that a problem or not? I could increase the rate at which it's mined out and then shove over the excess, but I could just shove over the excess anyway. Although there is no excess, this stuff is in perfect harmony. Maybe you need another train of thought. No, trains are even more of a pain to set up. We're just going to belt this stuff over. Recht. In that case, what kind of numbers are we looking at for making rocket fuel? Also, how much of this stuff am I going to need? Goodness, I have no idea. How much do you consume per minute? 150. But boy, do you make a ton of rocket fuel per minute. When we package you, how much are you consuming? A lot. Oh, we also need to consider that the empty fuel tanks are going to require aluminium in order to package this stuff. Aluminium is a very long way away. Starting to think I shouldn't bother doing this until I set up a railway network that connects my crummy oil place to my similarly crummy, well no, far less crummy aluminium plant. Then I can bring this over, make rocket fuel and bring it back. But I shouldn't do it before because it's not necessary. We should focus on the task at hand. The task at hand is unlocking nuclear power and then beginning the automation of our computer factory, which will be done over at the Blue Crater. So let's just consider this as working fine for now and make our way home. Can we confirm that? That is close enough to 620 for me to be assured that everything is working fine here. You get out of here, you get on me, and let's go. There should be both oil and nitrogen near the aluminium factory and close enough to it precisely. Even though everything is already pretty much set up here. The only reason I was interested in that in the first place was the sighting of nitrogen. Now, let's not consider that. Too bad for that. I'm getting overly excited by something I see and only causing trouble for myself. I love this game's draw distance. Hang on, is it back? It is back. R fog 0, please. There we go. Much better. Alright, how good are you flowing? I would dare to say particularly well. I don't know why it's only showing 605 though. Maybe it just needs a bit longer to normalize. Yeah, still going up and down like a bit of a yo-yo. Point is, this is all working fine. Excess is being sunk. We could make the polymers into fabric for even more points, but that's not really a concern, is it? No, points seem largely irrelevant. I love the crappy little coupons, though. They're a good larf. Oh, we've been ignoring something. The MAM. Perhaps you have the secrets to nitrogen acid. This is Garbo. This is Garbo. Give me the adhered steel plate. And give me other garbage recipes, please. People are telling me I've already got most of the good ones, and I'm willing to believe that. Nothing else to concern ourselves with here? Then we blast our way home. If I can remember where my blaster is. I think it's over here. I know that, forgotten. We have the car. I didn't bother getting it. It seems like a meme, if I had to guess, and I do. I just realized, do I actually generate enough water here? Or did I do enough water for half of it and then not for everything else? Everything's showing green. Wait a second. If you're backed up on heavy oil residue, that is fine. You're still waiting on the manifold to fill up. Okay, I don't perceive this being a problem. But I'm not known for my perception. Haha, the turbo fuel buffer is empty. Maybe it is a problem. I guess this was running for quite a while without the full amount of compacted coal. And now it has, what, like 5% more compacted coal than needed, so it'll take a while to even out. But I have every confidence that we can leave this running indefinitely and there'll be no problems. Old Eagle Eye Jake, you only use one word of that for me, young. It's not Eagle, it's not I, and it's not Jake. Whee! Kind of looking forward to setting up a rail line that brings the stuff around, but I can't help but wonder if drones are going to be the real answer in all of this. And a quick glance at the power, and the power is... Ah! No, I don't want to go back. I need some kind of temporary power switch for that thing. At least from here I can admire the wet concrete factory and the steel factory. Drones are quick and easy to set up. That's certainly what I'm hoping for. Recht. But with all that time that we wasted, spent fruitfully, we should have no problem grabbing our supercomputers. But the problem arises that we actually need more supercomputers because I spent some on Mark III miners. Fortunately, I have the everything for that. And by everything, I mean not enough silica and not enough quick wire. Here, have quick wire. Here, have silica. Why do I have so many encased industrial beams? Because I dismantled all of the Mark IV belts, right? There we go, get to bleeding work. I assume you're dead full on those, of course. And you're dead full on those, of course. That's what I want back into the depot. So many computer-related things we need to automate. It's almost frightening to think how much we lack there. Almost. Not that easily frightened, of course. Oh, of course, they're not here. They get shoved into a box. Ah! Thinking. It's not my forte, but it can be done. I think even these need more space in my... or I need more of them in the dimensional depot. Recht. So we have 42. We only need 8 more, and we're good to go. Let's flush out the inventory and get ready to build an actual factory. I didn't promise I'd be building today, but it might have been considered a soft promise. Coal, quartz, sulfur, plating, other kinds of plating, frames, reinforced bolts, steel tubes, iron, other things, polymer resin, copper wire, rotor, wires. I don't need these fluid tanks, don't need concrete. I need no supercomputers though. I need RCUs. I guess I could even get rid of wood. Yeah, I'm not that desperate to hold on to my wood. I am desperate to hold on to crystal oscillators, though. Never seem to have enough of them. Yeah, it's even faster to dump that than drag things one by one into my dumping box here. And there we go. Supercomputers up the wazoo. Let us continue on. Tier a day, I said?
Milestone reached. The nuclear power plant produces dangerous radioactive nuclear waste. Fix-It reminds you that any extra limbs resulting from exposure to radiation are also contracted to work on project assembly. Fix-It also reminds you that willful exposure to radiation will not result in any bonuses regardless of how many functional limbs it produces. Project part number 7, the magnetic field generator, should enter production as soon as possible. Any unnecessary delays will be noted.
What do we consider unnecessary, Ada? I don't have all the information. Also, this looks very, very easy to make. Look at that, it's just, that's just iron and steel. And rubber if I wanted to be a tryhard. And this is just AI limiter and, not rotor, but the other thing that sounds like rotor. Yes, stator. And the limiter is just easy peasy. This is easy stuff to make. Nice. However, I'm more than a little curious about what is required in nuclear plant power. More supercomputers. The game keeps wanting me to build supercomputers. Which is probably something I should automate then. Should probably be the first goal of the computer part of the factory. And that's no problem, because I'm a goal-oriented person. Also, more computers to turn into supercomputers, please. And more silica and more quickwire. Why is the quickwire loading so slowly? It's not, though. It's just because there's a massive capacity for it, I think. Ah, the sounds of automation. Why do you have a German pronunciation of Stator? I mean, what else are you going to say? Stator? Stator? None of it sounds as fun as Stator. And that's my general way of approaching words. Just say it the most fun way to say it. Alright, there we go. Better keep some spare supercomputers for any Mark 3 miners that I need. How many do they need? 5 or 10? Only 5, so I can already make 2 Mark 3 miners. Although Mark 2 miners with Schloops are already pretty good. In fact, I think not Schloops, but the shards. Sharding Mark 2 might be better than Mark 3ing in a lot of ways, because Mark 3 doubles the output but triples the energy. Same can be said of Mark 1 to 2. Then again, energy is hopefully not going to be concerned for a good long time. We are way below capacity. Capacity fluctuations might be a result of turbo fuel related issues. I want to have 10 supercomputers at the ready. I'll shove them into the dimensional vortex. And then we have everything we need to get going. What are you? Oh, my RCUs. Right. We have a train line at the ready for this. Also, I have an elevator for this. Why am I burning my precious fuel? Speaking of it being precious. I would like it to be faster, but too bad. Tactical elevator action. And I believe I made myself the Master Blaster here as well. And that brings me right over. Oh, I could use the train, but actually there's a thought. The train will take me to where I need to go. This one will shoot me off in a not quite right direction, but that's okay. Whee! And the map is ready. The map might actually have some new recipes given the things that we've unlocked. There we go. So the dream is that this is where I process anything rail related, and then beyond that I want to build a proper factory. A proper factory. When is it ever truly proper around here? But ma'am, what do you have for me? Rubbery concrete and leaching? Absolutely not. Copper. Ooh. A new kind of supercomputer. The OC. Almost twice the production rate. Requires RCUs, which require computers and aluminium anyway. The aluminium makes me hesitate a bit. I like the idea that maybe I could build my computer factory without relying on aluminium. But I suppose these goods are going to have to intermingle someday, and there's no problem bringing aluminium around on a belt from under the rail line, or just railing it over. I'll take my OC supercomputer, please. And definitely not the recipe that required bolts. It's easier to add more trains than another belt. Yeah, you just got to set up the train infrastructure first. Come to think of it, the way I set this up with a single foundation, is it actually possible to run a parallel line on one bit of foundation? It looks like it's absolutely not, so I would actually have to do another dueling amount of foundation next to this and build it over. So I may have created a bit too much work for myself down the line, but that's okay. Is it okay? Probably. The OC is great. You can make a ton in an assembler. Yeah, no need for a manufacturer, is there? Hello, my train. Goodbye, my train. Right, where does a man start with this? One of the more intimidating things about this game is you figure out what you want to do and then you have to work backwards for all the goodies that you need. So the idea is that I'm going to make a supercomputer factory here. Perhaps I should just imagine that I'm making one automated load of supercomputers in one machine and then work backwards in a scalable way. So if I end up having 2 or 4 or 8 or 16 machines making supercomputers, we just double, 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 double. Yes. And I think we will use our new OC supercomputer. I'll still be wanting these parts anyway because... what is the first thing? You need a heatsink. Does a heatsink involve steel? No, it involves aluminium. Well, I guess we were scuppered from the get-go, huh? No, you need more than one foundation space between the rails, or crashes will happen in the curves. Couldn't you just branch out the curves a bit? It seems like a lot of space to use. Right, what am I thinking? The OC supercomputer shall be built. How does one even plan this? I feel like I want a branching diagram on pen and paper here. And given that I've already got scribbles here that said I've got the number 640 sulf coal written here. If only I had actually referenced that. Alright. Feels like I need a bigger piece of paper here as well. So if we want to make the OC supercomputer, that is the goal of this thing, and every product I make along the way I'm going to shove into the dimensional depot. So OC supercomputer. Maybe I should do this on notes so that you guys can see it as well. That's harder for me to reference, but it's probably better if we can all think together. That way I can outsource some thinking. So what are we thinking? We're thinking computer factory. The computer factory. I love that this is partially see-through. I think there's a way to have it completely see-through, but never mind that. So, OC supercomputer. 3 per min. Requires... radio control units 6 per minute. And requires cooling system 6 per minute. But the thing is, I also need to say that these things require what exactly? And then those things themselves will have their own requirements. Satisfactory does have its own built-in note system, but I prefer Steam Notes. The RCU is going to require... which kind do we want to make? Probably the one that has a much better output. It requires rubber, but I'm probably going to be needing to do processing anyway. Yeah, it gets me more bang for buck per quartzy thing anyway. Oh man, this is going to explode in complexity. There must be a better way to do with this. You can mess with the production planner on the Satisfactory calculator site. Yes, I could, but do I want to? I feel like this notes thing is not sufficient for the task, given how explosive these are all going to get. Sorry, Computer Factory Notes, it was not to be. Could you do me the favor of linking me that Satisfactory calculator site? Might make it a lot easier just to visualize what I'm doing here. Because there are so many parts that require so many parts that require so many parts. Once we reach this stage, at least. That is quite the link. Oh, but that already has the OC supercomputer in it. It just so happens I have another monitor for this. Whoa, lordy. This has more information than I was looking for. A lot more information than I was looking for. I don't like the way it does this. I prefer Satisfactory models. It's easier to use, says Karanha, giving me another page to look at. Wait, this is a mod? No, it's a game. What? You know what? This doesn't feel right. You know what does feel right? Using my pen and using some paper. So the OC supercomputer making... what was it again? I've already managed to forget. Yeah, making 3 per minute. Pen and paper works, but we can't see it. You wouldn't see the website either. I don't tend to capture browser. Well, sometimes I do. For my totally not sponsored Dominion 6 mod inspector tool. So that is going to require... God, I need a big piece of paper for this. Just the way everything doubles and triples out from everything you go to. RCU 6 Permin. God, what is the best way to organize? I find it really hard, not just on the pen and paper and stuff, but in my mind. How do I defragment all this information? Because it's a lot to defragment. And break out the whiteboard. You can handcraft supercomputers. That would do it. I could, but I won't. Maybe the best thing to do is to break down all the raw ingredients that I need, ignoring the stuff that I already have. Or maybe the way is to automate the production of all the items involved and then bring them together for the final product. That's a lot less steps and complexity. Oh man, it's still a whole lot going on here. Yeah, my mind is kind of glazing over when I look at this. Is it spreadsheet time? How do you get alternate recipes on this calculator? Right, I tell you what, I think what I really do is that I leave this to future Jake. Because I don't feel in the right frame of mind for sorting out big things like that. And maybe it's something I need to chew on in my spare time rather than doing it whilst on stream. So although this is a very short one, I think we'll call it here for now. And we don't try and copy over long play 11. It doesn't like that save. It likes the other ones though. And then for next time, I think I will already have these kinds of ratios drawn up so I can easily get to building. Because that's what I want to do. I want to just build. I don't want to think. So if I make future Jake do the thinking, then I can do the building. That's part of my brilliant plan, and that's what I'll do. Kind of leaves us with a lot of spare time left over today, though. It's Saturday. It's only 20 to 5. Tell you what, how about we have some Dominions? Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll take an early dinner break, and then I will come back for some desperate fighting as the crab people in Dominions. That's what I'll do. All right, very well. I'll be back in 30 minutes to an hour with some of that, and we'll be back with Satisfactory next Wednesday. Yes, playing it by the ear, but that's how we'll do it. So until I'm back with that, it is a cheers and a cheerio.